Shalom. I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakudash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also, I want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. All right, so today the Spirit has me in Mark, the 8th chapter, and I'm going to start at verse 27. It says, And Yahushua went out, and his disciples into the towns of Caesarea Philippi, and by the way he asked his disciples, saying unto them, Whom do men say that I am? So Yahushua was asking his disciples, who do people say I am? Who do they think I am? And let me explain this to you. This is dealing with reincarnation, regeneration. All right, because the people weren't on as low level as they are now with this knowledge and this truth in the time of the Romans. Because you see, Christianity doesn't teach reincarnation or regeneration. Because they know if they did, then they'd be held accountable. Like the Edomites would be accountable for the sins of their fathers, right? Which their fathers, they are their fathers because it's regeneration. We're reincarnated. All right. So Yahushua is asking his disciples, whom do men say that I am? Right. We read on verse 28. And they answered, John the Baptist. So some people said he was John the Baptist, but some say Elias, and others one of the prophets. So some people thought he was Elijah. Some people would say he's John the Baptist. Some people would say he's one of the prophets. Right. Talking about one of the prophets of the Old Testament. Right. So how can you say that there's no reincarnation when Yahushua was asking his disciples, who do they think I am? And for them to say one of the prophets, which Yahushua is, he's the greatest prophet, but, this is irrefutable evidence showing reincarnation in the Bible. And I'm going to keep reading. All right, there's many other verses that we could bring out dealing with reincarnation, regeneration. And that'll be for another lesson. But verse 29, and he saith unto them, But whom say ye that I am? And Peter answered and saith unto him, Thou art the Hamashiach, or the anointed, right? I mean, he's the chosen one. And that's how Peter answered him, right? So let's keep reading. And he charged them that they should tell no man of him, right? Because remember, you got to move wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. Even in our time, we got to move wise as serpents and harmless as doves. So there's even times in our own lives, and we tell you, when you go to the workplace, you don't want to be really you don't really want to be talking about this knowledge, this truth when you're working, or when you're outside of the brotherhood or outside of the camp. You may have the Spirit jump on you. You might be teaching somebody who you might think is the hopeful elect or could be of the elect, and there's nothing wrong with that. But for the most part, we got to move wise as serpents like Yahushua did. He told them, he said, and he charged them that they should tell no man of him. See, you don't want to walk into your job on the first day and tell people you're a prophet, right? Because that's all it's going to do is cause. It could cause a lot of things. It could bring a lot of problems for you, and really we shouldn't move that way. There's a time and there's a place, okay? Verse 31, and he began to teach them that the Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected of the elders and of the chief priests and the scribes and be killed, and after 3 days rise again. And why did Yahushua teach this? Because he knew prophecy. he knew what his purpose was, right? Just like us, we know prophecy. We know what our purpose is. We know that some of us are going to have to, be put to death as martyrs for our testimony of this knowledge and this truth. Tells you that in Revelations, right? Let me get that real quick. So let's get Revelation 20 and 4. It says, "And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua, and for the word of the Most High, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Hamashiach 1,000 years." You see that? So the Revelation tells us John the Revelator had the vision of the prophets who were getting beheaded because of the witness and their testimony of Yahushua. All right, so just wanted to bring that out. Mark 8 and 32. And remember, we had just read that Yahushua said he was going to be rejected of the elders, the chief priests, the scribes, and be killed, and after 3 days rise again. So now we read 32. It says, "And he spake that saying openly, and Peter took him and began to rebuke him." All right, so when you go to that word rebuke, it also means disapprove, right? So Peter was like, when Yahushua said that he had to be, put to death and rise again 3 days later, Peter was in the wrong spirit, right? Because it says Yahushua said this openly among his disciples, and Peter was in the wrong spirit because he started to rebuke Yahushua, saying, meaning he didn't approve of it. He didn't approve, but guess what? It doesn't matter what we approve of. The only thing that matters is the will of Yahweh. All right. So let's see what Yahushua did. Verse 33. "But when he had turned about and looked on his disciples, he rebuked Peter, saying, Get thee behind me, Satan, for thou savorest not the things that be of the Most High, but the things that be of men." Right? Because Peter was like, "Oh, you ain't going to die. You ain't going to die. That's not going to happen." But he got pissed at Peter. He was like, "Man, he called him Satan." That's like calling him a motherfucker or something. In those days, that's a cuss words, fighting words, right? Yahushua was that disappointed and angry with him. He said, "Get thee behind me, Satan." Right? He's like, you're not coming in the spirit of the will of God. You're coming in the spirit of men, right? Because the will of the Most High at that time was for Yahushua to go up on the cross. And why was it? So we could be brought back into this fold. So we could be, brought back into the good favor of Yahweh, right? So let's keep reading. Verse 34. "And when he had called the people unto him with his disciples also, he said unto them, Whosoever will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me." So that's what we do. We're in this knowledge, we're in this truth. We deny ourselves, right? We sacrifice things for this knowledge, for this truth. Because there's a scripture that says those that do the commandments will have a great understanding, right? Let's get that real quick. So there's a lot of reasons, but I mean, it's if the Lord puts a spirit on you to deny yourself and take up your cross, which is burden. And yesterday I did a video speaking on, it was Malachi chapter 1, speaking on the burden of the prophets, right? So it's a burden. You have to deny yourself in this knowledge and this truth. You see, there may be times when, if you're single and you might want to go out and get some pussy, and it's the Sabbath, or it's it's a high holy day where we're supposed to be sovereign and be be keep ourselves away from things like that. So you got to deny yourself sometimes. You have to have discipline, right? And that's just one example. I mean, it came to mind because I've been put in that position, many times where, it's the Sabbath and you need to just discipline yourself. You don't want to be going out and having sex and fucking some girl on the Sabbath, right? Really, we're coming to a time where really that stuff doesn't matter as much because this place is winding down. So you should be happy to deny yourself and take upon this burden and follow Yahweh Shai. I'm not saying you can't have sex, but there's times when you discipline yourself, you see. Verse 35, for whosoever will save his life shall lose it, but whosoever shall lose his life for my sake and the gospel's, the same shall save it. Right. So we lose ourselves in this knowledge, in this truth. You know, we make sacrifices, we make changes. We don't do things according to the heathen, to the best of our ability. We try to walk in the statutes and the laws and the commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And some people will say you're losing your life for that, right? Oh, just because I don't eat pork, or I'm not going to celebrate Halloween with you, or Thanksgiving or Christmas. I'm not going to get in that Christmas spirit. And we're coming into those months where the heathen are going to be doing all of these things, you see. So let me see, what was I going to grab? I just lost my train of thought on what precept I was going to grab, but oh yeah, I got one. I came right back. It's going into sacrificing things for this truth, right? And I should have just pulled it up because I knew what it was. But I Googled it just to make sure, and I already knew what it was. Psalm 34:10, it says, the young lions do lack and suffer hunger, but they that seek Yahweh shall not want any good thing. All right, and it's going into what we're reading in Mark. So we know we got to make sacrifices. We got to let certain things go, We can't always be pleasing the flesh in this knowledge and this truth, all right? There's times when we got to just literally straight up just deny ourselves, right? And I'm actually, getting in that spirit of denying myself more and more just because, you go through things in this world and you start to realize, like, man, we need the kingdom. We need Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. We need Yahushai already, man. It's time for us to get the hell out of here. If you ask the men who are in the spirit, we're in that spirit. Like, we need to get the fuck out of here. This place, all it does is vex you. You might have some good times, good things happen to you. But even when the good things happen, there's still vexing things right around the corner, right? Mark 8 and 35. I'm going to read it again. It says, for whosoever will save his life shall lose it, but whosoever shall lose his life for my sake and the gospel's, the same shall save it. So we just read in Psalm 34:10 that, they that seek Yahweh shall not want any good thing, meaning you're ready to give up everything, whether it's material things, whether it's, there could be at some point during Jacob's trouble, we got to lose where we live, our residence, our families, our kids, your wife, all your money, all your whatever you consider valuable. You got to be able to let go of all those things. And that's why Yahweh Bashem Yahshai puts his men through that fire, right? He's going to put us through the proverbial fire, which is going to, make us men in this knowledge, in this truth. Let's get a quick precept in Sirach, aka Ecclesiasticus 2. It says, Ecclesiasticus 2 and 5, For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Right? So we're going to go through the furnace of adversity, especially if we're in this knowledge and this truth. Yahweh Bashim Yahshua is going to test us. He's going to remove the dross, and we're going to become that pure, solid gold. Even better than gold, it tells you in the scripture. All right? But it's a purification process. You see? So we got to deny ourselves. We got to get ready to give up things. We got to be prepared to lose things. Something we could lose is even our own life, for the testimony of this truth. You see? So that's the spirit that we're in, man. And when you get deep in this knowledge and this truth, I can tell you, man, I not that I'm so deep, I'm not considered an elder. I've been doing it a while, but I wouldn't consider myself an elder. But the thing is, when you get in this thing deep, you really do realize that the more experience I have in this knowledge and this truth, the more I'm ready to let go of Babylon. The more I'm prepared to just move on from this place, Because I can honestly say that, we get to camp, I'll tell the brothers, man, and let's get it real quick. Daniel, this place wears you out, man. Daniel 7:25. You go to work all week. You may do something fun here and there, but it's like it's the hamster wheel. You're just running and running in circles over and over, the same thing over and over again, right? Wears you out is the point. Daniel 7:25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change his times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and a times and the dividing of time. See? So the point is this place wears out the saints, man. If you're in the right spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yoshai, there's times you just get worn out with this place. Even the things that used to make you happy, it's not like that anymore, That's why I read earlier, those that seek Yahweh shall not want any good thing. Once we started getting deep in this knowledge and this truth, and this doesn't mean, I'm not trying to say you become depressed or you're suicidal, nothing like that, right? Because we have the foundation, we have the spirit on us that sustains us, but it's just a spirit of really just coming to grips on reality. And even King Solomon, who had all the riches, all the women, he had everything a man could desire. Even he was in that spirit, right? Let's get that real quick. Let's get the account of King Solomon, who basically he had everything that a man could want. He had plenty of women. He had plenty of anything he wanted. He had. Okay, let's get this. This one looks like it'll be. Well, look, I'll read a couple. I'll read Ecclesiastes 2:22. For what hath man of all his labor, and of the vexation of his mind or heart, wherein he hath labored under the sun? For all his days are sorrows, and his travail grief. Yet his heart or his mind taketh not rest in the night. This is also vanity. There is nothing better for a man than that he should eat and drink, and that he should make his soul enjoy good in his labor. This also I saw, that it was from the hand of the Most High. For who can eat, or who can else hasten hereunto more than I? Right, because he was the king. In verse 26, for the Most High had giveth to a man what that is good in his sight, wisdom and knowledge and joy. But to the sinner he giveth travail to gather and to heap up, that he may give to him that is good before the Most High. This also is vanity and vexation of spirit. So basically he's saying that everything was vain. When you go to that word vain, vanity, it means useless. Everything was useless, right? That's key because that's what King Solomon was talking about in Ecclesiastes, just talking about how useless everything is. The only thing that matters is this knowledge and this truth, right? Well, let's get some more account of him saying everything is vanity. Ecclesiastes 3:19, it says, "For that which befalleth the sons of men befalleth beasts, even one thing befalleth them, as the one dieth, so dieth the other. Yeah, they have all one breath, so that a man hath no preeminence above a beast, for all is vanity." So he's even saying, like, you ain't even better off than the animals because you're all gonna die. We all have the same fate. You see, again, this is not talking about, because we know that some men won't die, right? And I'm actually going to get to that in this chapter I'm reading here in Mark. But let me get this preeminence word. It means supremacy, superiority, greatness, excellence, right? So he's saying that no man has superiority over the beast because you're going to, well, it says right here, verse 20, all go into one place. All are of the dust and all turn to the dust again, right? So, we go through these trials, these tribulations, and why? So that we can get purified. And as you get purified, you start to realize everything is useless, man. That's what this truth teaches you. It literally shows you that everything around you is useless. Remember when you used to be all into the NFL or the NBA, and you would, dedicate the weekend to sitting down and watching the games, and you'd have that anxiety, that spirit in you, nervous, you know, and you realize everything's fixed. All those sports leagues are fixed, and it's just all vanity, man. Then what do you have to look forward to if you're a real man in this world? Really the only thing we look forward to is going to camp, you know. Seriously, that's what we look forward to. We go to the camp because you might have a vexing week or just a tough week where you're dealing with bullshit. Then you get to camp and your spirit's lifted, and it gives you like a charge. It's like going to camp is like, what I could compare it to is like when your battery's about to die, you charge it up. That's what camp does. It just charges you up just so you can last, because you're worn out and everything's useless. So you get, you go to camp. That's that you get in charge. You get that phone, plug in your phone, just for another week, and go back, and get recharged after that next week of vexation and uselessness, right? um, but when you read Ecclesiastes, basically you get the point. Basically, he says it over and over. King Solomon says it's a vexation of spirit. He's talking about this world. It's just a vexation of spirit, vanity. He says it over and over in Ecclesiastes. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and go back. I'm going to go back to Mark. But you got the point, Mark 8 and 35. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, but whosoever shall lose his life for my sake and the gospel's, the same shall save it. So that's what we're doing. We're losing our life on this side, right? We're just like, okay, none of this stuff matters. The only thing that matters is Yahweh Bashem Yoshai and this knowledge and this truth. So that the rest of the world look like us, like at us, like we're losing our life, right? But we know that we're gaining. We're gaining a great prize, a great reward. by coming in that spirit, right? Because you got a lot of these heathen, man, that they're still looking forward to the bullshit. They still can't wait for the Broncos game or the Lakers game or the Nuggets game. You see what I'm saying? This is their world, you know? Their emotions are all up and down, tied into those things. But when you get in this knowledge, this truth, you know, you see what it is. You see that it's a vexation of spirit. It's vanity. It's useless. Hey, man, like, only thing we want and the only thing we're focused on is the only thing that matters, which is this truth, this knowledge, you know, doing the work, making our calling an election sure. You see, all these other things can just really, we could give two fucks about everything else around us. You see, even your families, you know. I remember being, I want to see all my family, all my cousins, all my this and all my that. And, we're in a time now where, hey, we'll deal with that on the other side. We'll deal with that in the kingdom, all right? Because now you go around those people and they're all, they're not all in the truth. So that's going to be a vexation of spirit to you. You get around them. You get around the 2/3. You get around the coworkers at your job. They're 2/3 more than likely, or heathen. You see. So let's read verse 36. For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? Whosoever therefore shall be ashamed of me and of my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, of him also shall the Son of Man be ashamed, when he cometh in the glory of his Father and with the holy angels. So Yahushua is telling you, you want to put your pride, your energy, you want to put all your time into all these useless and vain things, and you don't give a damn about the truth. You don't give a damn about the Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Well, guess what? He's going to reject you just like you reject him right now. And this is an adulterous and sinful generation, in a spiritual adultery and for sure physical adultery. These women are out of control. These men have no respect for other men's wives. They commit adultery day in and day out in the workplaces. I can't tell you, how many times that I have, you have a conversation with a woman, and she'll start opening up, telling you about, oh, I was married and ended up, I was working. My husband and I had started falling off a little. I ended up, they'll tell you that they ended up sleeping with the dude they work with, And it's not limited to that. Really, women are opportunists. So, and then with the social media, this is definitely adulterous and sinful generation, man. Abad babad to this place, man. Let all the curses, let all these people die the fate of a sinner, especially if they're adulterers. Especially, if you're a spiritual adulteress, if you're in spiritual adultery, which is you're calling on gods that are not Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, you're calling on false idols, you're definitely going to get put to death, put to shame. He's going to be ashamed of you, just like you never took no reverence in him.